Look, I mean, it's got everything. It's got, Donald Trump, Taylor Swift, Kendrick Lamar. It's going to clearly be a record ever audience. The one thing I say it hasn't got is generative AI, which is fascinating. Now, you could say, but hang on, we've heard that, OpenAI are going to run their first ever Super Bowl spot, not just their first ever Super Bowl spot, but their first ever paid TV advertising. We've got ads from Google and Meta and GoDaddy. But I think the thing that's actually missing so far, and obviously we'll see on Sunday, but no one has actually used generative AI to create that content, which is quite remarkable. Or even bewildering when you think how good generative AI is today at creating content and the incredible progress that's been made in the last 18 months.
So could that be the last Super Bowl where Gen AI is not used for advertising? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, I mean, I think from the content creation piece, I mean, obviously, like last year, you had literally 1 5-second ad for Anthropic, and that was it in one region. And now you've got a lot of players present. But I think interestingly, the Perplexity chief business officer said that they were looking at paying $8 million for a Super Bowl spot, and then they thought it was just going to be packed full of Gen AI companies, so they wanted to stand out. I think the way to stand out is actually use Gen AI to create content, because if you look at what creators are doing, and I think it's almost like the advertising industry didn't get the memo. Like the creators today are creating the most incredible content with generative AI, and yet we're not seeing any of that in the Super Bowl.
Let's see whether that will change next year. In the meantime, I want to focus on the numbers once again, because they're staggering. Let me just repeat these for our audience. Fox is reportedly selling at least 10 commercial spots for more than $8 million each, which would represent a new record. My question to you is, where do we go from here?
Well, look, I think, is it the last Gen AI, or is it the last kind of traditional Super Bowl and everyone now from on is going to be generative AI potentially, but is it the last Taylor Swift Super Bowl? We'll see. But I think if you look at her impact, I mean, the previous game was the record ever audience on a Sunday since the last Super Bowl, 27 million people. That was double what the NBA final got, double what the World Series got, and a 53% increase in teenage girls watching the NFL. You're going to have Trump there, you're going to have Taylor Swift there, Kendrick Lamar. So I guess the question for brands to ask themselves is, if you spent $8 million on a Super Bowl ad, are you going to be overshadowed by all of that and the kind of whole word of mouth that you would usually be expecting? But I think what we are seeing is some amazing creators, and it's a great parallel to 10, 15 years ago. So Perplexity are doing a huge thing with creators. The NFL are bringing in 150 of them. Alex Earl, one of the biggest creators out there, influencers out there, is doing a spot for Carl Jr.'s. So, I think if I think back kind of 10, 15 years ago, everyone said, well, influencers and creators can't create content. And we're kind of there again with, can Gen AI be used to create content? And the answer is yes, and it should be. And I think it's the last time we'll see almost no Gen AI created content in a Super Bowl.